Hi guys, smoking the little Cavendish pipe, fantastic little briar, very like me Duncan, like me old Bond pipe as well, lovely little billiard, very light and strong, last forever these things. And I'm on the strong stuff again tonight, which is Gareth Hogarth's Dark Flake A. If you've never tasted dark fired tobacco, well, this is one of the kings. It's really great, it's very strong, very tasty. I love it. If you weren't used to pipe smoking, then it could make your knees buckle a bit, but when you are used to it, it's a great tobacco. Absolutely lovely. Just taking it easy tonight because I'm going to crick my neck. I think it's something I did the other day. I lifted something very heavy, stupidly. One of those things we all think we're 21, but I can still do it like most people, but you suffer afterwards. So I've gone and cricked one of my muscles in the neck there. Oh, couldn't move it this morning. It was totally stiff. It's still a bit stiff. I think it goes back to something I did when I was a teenager on the tree job. I was digging a tree out in the town centre with a gang, and we had to cut through, or bash our way with sledgehammers through nearly a foot of concrete which was around this huge tree. I think it was a horse chestnut, and I felt something go at the time, and the next day I was absolutely in agony. I couldn't move my head at all, still working like a fool, but couldn't move my head at all, and I always remember that day. And I don't think I had anything before then, but it's just one of those things that can come back if you just do the wrong thing at the wrong time, especially if you've not warmed up beforehand, which is what I always tell people to do. Make sure you warm yourself up before you lift heavy things, but it's just one of those daft things that we all do at times. Thankfully it's quite quiet out there tonight. We thought it might be a bit noisy because it's mischief night, which the night before Halloween, and it can be a bit tasty at times. You get a few deaf kids throwing eggs and things like that, but so far so good, touch wood, it's been okay. And we always used to enjoy the Halloween when we were kids. Fantastic time, used to get very excited. Like the old jack-o'-lanterns carved out and some pumpkin soup. Absolutely great. It's all based on the old Celtic festival of Samhain, spelt Samhain, it's pronounced Samhain. And it used to be a time when the Celts, as farmers, used to bring the cattle down before the snows of winter came, down off the mountains and the hilltops, bring them back to safety and lower land. And last chance before winter for the kids to let off a bit of steam, have a bit of fun. One of the very old traditional festivals. It's quite a time of reminiscence for us as well. It's quite a spiritual time. You tend to reflect on the year and the times that you've had with your family and friends, some of them gone. It's a time when you seem to spend more time in and keeping warm by the fire. The dark night's coming. Before you know it, it's Yuletide. So, although it's almost Halloween, not quite, I'll say to you happy Halloween and happy Samhain. Just the time for the strong dark tobaccos. Absolutely perfect this weather. It's been cold today really, well, pretty cold, not freezing or anything, but really feeling that nip in the air now, and had some pretty big winds yesterday. The leaves were really flying off the trees. To be spending quite a lot of time out with a brush brushing up the leaves. But yeah, it's quite a time of reflection. Time when you get a lot of the old ghost stories seem to come out at this time of year, from now to Yuletide. I've talked about them before on this channel. Told you some of my own experiences if you look back. I won't repeat myself. Funny as well, I was looking at some of the old stories of the lifeboat disaster which happened in 1886 just off our coast. It was one of probably the worst maritime disaster for the lifeboat lads ever. Terrible time. That was in December. I think it was about the 9th or the 10th of December. I covered that before as well, the lifeboat disaster. So you can look back on that one. Terrible night when I think it was 27 or 28 men were lost trying to rescue the crew off a German vessel which got stuck out on the sandbanks here. It's in the Ribble estuary. Very deadly out there at night. And it's quite shallow, and you'd think that the shallow water would be safer, but it's not, because a lot of ships got stuck out on the sandbanks. And that night three lifeboats went out, but not as many people came back as went out to try and rescue the guys. Terrible night. Mexico, that was it. The German ship was the Mexico. And there was the Charles Biggs, I think it was the Laura Janet as well from St Andrews, and here we had a boat called the Eliza Fernley. In those days you used to have to drag the lifeboat down to the water by horse, but it got within 20 yards of the Mexico, and a huge wave came and turned it over. You know, they found the boat a few hours later on the shore, and I probably mentioned it before, but a couple of the lads managed to get to shore, but the rest had been drowned. Terrible tragedy. Even Queen Victoria made quite a fuss about it, I think, and sent in a donation at the time. Must have been a real national tragedy at the time. It's so sad. I mean, even as a kid it used to upset me thinking about it, because I spent such a lot of time on the beach fishing and beach combing, so I felt quite close to it really. Terrible disaster. They didn't have radios and things like that in those days, and they used to wear cork lifeboats, nothing like life jackets, nothing like what they've got today. So a lot of hanging on in a very strong sort of northwesterly gale or whatever it was that night. Must have been awful. Snow coming down, freezing seas. Amazing anyone survived really. One of the Blackpool boats, I think everybody died in it. Laura Janet, I think it was. But yeah, strange what you get reminiscing on though on the dark nights. It's not a depressive thing, it's just a human interest story really. But it's just something I've always felt close to, this lifeboat disaster. Anyway guys, enough of my ramblings. Thanks for watching, posting under the videos, and take care. Speak soon.